Metals and nonmetals, part 3. Ionic bonds. Ionic bonds is a complete transfer of valence electrons between atoms. Valence electrons are the electrons which are present in the outermost shell. The metals loses electrons to form a positively charged cation, whereas the nonmetals accept those electrons to become a negatively charged anion. In ionic bonds, more than one electrons can be donated or received to satisfy the octet rule. Means every atom wants that the outermost shell should have 8 electrons. That's called as the octet rule. The charges of the anion and the cation corresponds to the number of electrons donated or received. So if an atom is going to donate 1 electron, it will acquire a 1 positive charge. If it donates 2, then 2 positive charge. And if donates 3, it acquires a 3 positive charge. Similarly, if an atom gains 1 electron, acquires 1 negative charge. If gains 2, acquires 2 negative charge. If gains 3, then acquires a minus 3 charge. So there is always a give and take of electrons of 1, 2 and 3, not more than that. Now let's look at the formation of ionic bonds. The positive ion, which is also called as cations, and the negative ions, which are also called as anions, that are formed, experiences the electrostatic force and gets attracted to form the chemical bond. So after loss and gain of electrons by the atom, they change into ions, and after the formation of ion, they attract each other because they have opposite charges on them. So this bond is known as a charged particle, known as the ions, is called as the ionic bond. So whenever there is a bond between ions, that's called as a ionic bond. The force between electrostatic, the bonds is also called as electrostatic bonds. So they are called as electrovalent bonds, they are called as ionic bonds, they are called as electrostatic bonds. So these are the 3 terms mainly used for them. As the valence concept has been explained in terms of electron, it is also called as the electrovalent bond. So because in this particular bond formation, the valence electrons are involved, so that's why it's called as the electrovalent bonds. Thus the definition may be the electrostatic attraction force that keeps the cations and the anions together to form a new electrically neutral entity is called as a ionic bond. So the bond in which cations and anions are kept together, and when they are together, they cancel the charge of each other, and as a result you get a electrically neutral molecule. So let's switch on to the next slide to understand few examples of ionic bond. Formation of sodium chloride, which is an ionic bond. Sodium chloride is a salt. Let's understand how the formation of sodium chloride takes place. In sodium chloride, sodium and chlorine are involved. Sodium is a metal, it's an alkali metal, and chlorine is a non-metal. So atomic number of sodium is 11, electronic configuration of sodium is 2, 8 and 1. As it has 1 electron in the outermost shell, which is called as a valence electron, so it has a tendency of losing this 1 electron, so that after loss of 1 electron, then the electronic configuration will be 2 and 8, and the atom will get stabilized. So every atom wants that the outermost shell should have 8 electrons, or you can say that every atom wants that the outermost shell should be complete. Now let's have a look on the chlorine. Atomic number of chlorine is 17. The electronic configuration of chlorine is 2, 8 and 7, and so valence electron is 7. So having 7 electrons in the outermost shell, it's not possible to lose 7 electrons. So nonmetals always have a tendency of gaining electrons. So chlorine will be interested in gaining 1 electron so that the outermost shell will be completed. And after gaining 1 electron, then the electronic configuration will become 2, 8, 8. Now let's look at the diagram. So you can see that this is a sodium atom. In the first shell 2, and in second shell it's 8. And in the third shell it's having 1 electron, which is being shown here. So this 1 electron which is present in the third shell will be donated to chlorine. So you can have a look on the chlorine atom also. First shell 2, second shell 8, whereas the third shell is having 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and the 7. So when the 8th one will be taken away from the sodium. So sodium has a tendency of losing electron because it's a metal, and chlorine has a tendency of gaining electron because it's a non-metal. So you can see that after loss of one electron, so now the third shell is not being shown because it's totally empty. So we will be showing only the second shell. Now the second shell is complete, having 8 electrons, and the sodium has acquired one positive charge, and chlorine has gained one electron from the sodium. And now the third shell of chlorine is also filled. So now chlorine is having one negative charge on it, whereas sodium is having one positive charge on it. So they'll come close to each other due to the oppositely charged particles, and as a result you get a sodium chloride, and sodium chloride will not have any charge on it because the charges will be nullified. So you can see this is how sodium chloride is formed. Now let's study one more example. Formation of magnesium chloride. Now let's have a look on the atomic number and electronic configuration to understand the bonding formation between the magnesium and chlorine. Atomic number of magnesium is 12, electronic configuration is 2, 8 and 2. Valence electron is 2, which is present in the third shell. Atomic number of chlorine 17, electronic configuration again 2, 8 and 7, valence electron 7. So now let's have a look on the diagram. Magnesium has 2 electrons in the outermost shell, so has a tendency of losing 2 electrons. So when magnesium is going to you lose 2 electrons, but chlorine is only interested in taking 1 electron. So one of the electron will be taken by one of the atom of chlorine, and the second electron will be taken by the second chlorine atom. So this is how in this particular case 3 atoms will be involved. I repeat, magnesium will lose 2 electrons. One of the electron will be given to one chlorine atom, and the second electron will be given to the second chlorine atom. So in this case, magnesium will acquire 2 positive charge because it has lost 2 electrons, and chlorine is going to acquire again -1 charge because one chlorine atom is gaining only 1 electron. So this will also acquire -1 charge, and this chlorine atom will also acquire 1 negative charge. So when an atom loses or gain electron, then we stop telling them as atom, we start calling them as ions. So magnesium will form a cation having 2 positive charge, and chlorine will change into an anion carrying 1 negative charge on it. So after understanding this, I hope it's clear how ionic bonds are formed. Formation of calcium chloride. Let us understand one more ionic compound. Atomic number of calcium is 20, electronic configuration is 2, 8, 8 and 2, valence electron 2. Atomic number of chlorine 17, electronic configuration of chlorine is 2, 8 and 7, valence electron is 7. So now let's have a look on the structure over here. This is a calcium atom, and the 2 electrons which are present in the outermost shell is shown over here. So as it has 2 electrons in the outermost shell, will be interested in losing these 2 electrons. So one of the electron will be given to the one chlorine atom, and the other electron will be given to the another chlorine atom. So in this case you can see 1 atom of calcium is involved and 2 atom of chlorine is involved. So after losing 2 electrons, calcium will acquire a 2 positive charge, and after accepting electron, each chlorine atom will acquire 1 negative charge, and they will change into an anion. So one chlorine atom is having negative charge, other chlorine atom is also having negative charge, so there are 2 chlorine atoms. So when we add charge of both the 2 chlorine ions, it becomes -2, and charge on calcium is also +2, so the charge is equal. So in this case, 1 calcium ion and 2 chlorine ion are going to have a bond formation, and an ionic bond will be formed. So as a result, there will be a strong force of attraction between one calcium ion and two chlorine ions, and a molecule will be formed which will be totally neutral because the charges are equalized and cancelled. So this is how you can see that how ionic bonds are formed. It is necessary to understand these ionic bonds so that you can study metallurgy with a easier view. So let's now study metallurgy. But before studying metallurgy, you need to understand what are the properties of ionic compounds. Physical nature of ionic compounds. Ionic compounds are solids and are somewhat hard because of their strong force of attraction between the positive and the negative ions. These compounds are generally brittle, means not very, means if you apply pressure on them, they break very easily, brittle. And because they are brittle, so they break into pieces when pressure is applied on it. Melting and boiling point, when we talk about melting and boiling point of ionic compounds, the melting and boiling point is high. This is because a considerable amount of energy is required to break the strong inter-ionic attraction. So there is a very strong force of attraction between the ions, and huge amount of heat is required to overcome that inter-ionic attraction. Solubility, electrovalent compounds are generally soluble in water and are insoluble insoluble in solvents like kerosene and petrol. Now, conduction of electricity. Ionic compounds in the solid form do not conduct any electricity because movement of ions in the solid is not possible due to their rigid structure. But ionic compounds conduct electricity in molten form and also in the aqueous form. So for the flow of electricity, definitely a substance need either the free electrons or ions can carry the electricity. So when ionic compounds are in solid state, the ions don't have the freedom to move, so they are unable to conduct electricity. But when they change into liquid form, means when they are molten, then the ions have the freedom to move, so they are able to carry the current. And when they are dissolved in water, at that time also they conduct electricity because on adding to water they dissociate into their cations and anions, so they are able to carry the current. So this was the properties of ionic compounds. Let's proceed further. No one can destroy iron, but its own rust can. Likewise, no one can destroy a person, but one's own mindset can. So you need to keep your mindset in such a situation that you always succeed. So with this quotation, I end this lesson. Stay safe and take care of yourself.